are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced and get happy with Dr. Marissa. And this show is about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have shows and topics.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
Monday, Tuesday,
Happy days.
Wednesday, Thursday,
Happy days.
Friday, whatever.
Happy days.
What a day. Na-na-na, na-na-na.
I love you.
I love you too.
Best known as the mom from Happy Days, and she is a delightful 89-year young Marion Ross to my studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Dr. Marissa, this is such a treat for me.
Oh.
My goodness, you're a wonderment.
Which is exactly the kind of guest that I like. Those who have gone through life, good and bad, and then taken those experiences to alchemize them into the person they are now and doing good on the planet. I'd like you to welcome Corey Feldman.
If you're grateful for it and you say right away, thank you, God. Oh, my God, it's so beautiful. I'm so blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then guess what? More good things will come to you.
Does this sound familiar at all? She's back again to mark my Cancer Awareness and Prevention Month show. Please welcome Fran Drescher. Hi, Fran.
On and supporting cancer schmance. I really appreciate it.
So what would you say are some of the biggest myths, Fran, that people have about cancer?
Well, I would say that they think that there's a cure for it.
Okay.
Instead of a cause for it.
This is the first call-in show when I get to be Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura. And people call in to get their life tires balanced and their critical thinking or their BS, their belief systems, smog checked. And today I am delighted to have Malie calling in from Birmingham, Alabama.
We could go 90 days and end up having terrible sex. And then you say, well, the relationship's not all about sex. Well, if I'm not getting great sex from you, then I'm going to get it from somebody else. Right?
That moose just got put on the table. And I see Josh and Jim.
I have to agree
You're
with Clyde.
both nodding. Ramon's sort of half nodding because his wife's listening. But
I understood what was going to happen if Muhammad Ali's youngest daughter, made public that I was going to become a boxer. So I wanted to make sure this was the path that I wanted to go down.
you are absolutely fabulous, beautiful inside and out. And I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award today.
Thank you.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone.
Are you lonely?
No.
Nah, I knew that was going to be
But
the answer.
I surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. Or I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go, so I can come over.
Come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. The morning show here on CNBC News, NBC News, and NBC Sports radio station KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah, the station that leaves no listener behind. AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Audible, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Spreaker, you name it. I'm there because I want to balance out all the bad news. It's so readily available every morning with some good news and good people. And if you've missed any of my 1,090 podcast shows, I think I was doing podcasts before they started calling them podcasts, then just resubscribe where you can watch on my YouTube TV channel all of those, plus some playlists like my red carpet playlist interviewing Halle Berry, John Travolta, and such. And you know that I have special guests on Tuesday Talent. It is Tuesday today, and I'm so delighted to bring to you someone that I just met. I guess it was 2 days ago at the Hollywood Museum. And I actually know her, but I didn't meet her because her fabulous husband has been on my show before, I think more than once actually. And he did the very, very kind thing of bringing his incredible mom. Jim is a renowned impressionist. And his mom is Mrs. Cunningham. You all know from Happy Days. You know, I've had half the cast of Happy Days because this is a show about hope and happiness. So Marion Ross, you just saw her in the longer promo of the show. Man, she is definitely one of my very favorite people in the world. And so as soon as I said her name, when I saw Jim, his beautiful wife that you see here in my studio, was so kind and just said, you know, oh, and I knew, okay, she's cool. And then I found out that she is an answer to one of the things that I've been wondering and questioning about with all of the actors that I have on Tuesday Talent. So she is, I'll just read you my promo. I don't know if you've seen this, Tamra. And that doesn't tear you down. I've had a plethora of actors on my show over the past 611 weeks on the air, and I've often been told that the world of acting can be a brutal one. Endless rejection, constant target for critique that almost takes pride in brutal honesty. When I hear about actors who turn to numb-ers and worst case suicide as a way of ending the internal torment, I'm saddened. And I've asked many of my celebrity guests, how can you protect yourself? And tough skin seems to be the only solution, or is it? I found a great actor to share some hope for me. I've had her husband on the show, and now you are meeting Tamra Meskimen, who's an actress who is also the co-founder of the Acting Center in Los Angeles. They use revolutionary new acting techniques to help conquer artistic self-doubt and gain confidence in one's abilities as an actor. Please welcome to my studio, Tamra Meskimen.
Thank you, Dr. Marissa.
So lovely to have you.
It was such a pleasure to meet you the other day and discover what you do. I mean, Jim had told me he'd been on your show, and I was aware that you had had Marion. And then when I looked at what your mission is, I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing, right? I mean, that's what we need, more happiness, right?
Absolutely. And you notice we even matched. We did not plan
I
that.
know.
And I want to say good morning to my cashew gallery as well. We've got Troy, who's co-captain of my cashew gallery. We've got Sabrina Rogers here as well. Thank you. Good morning and welcome to the show. And Miss Tamra is her teacher. That's so wonderful. And we also have, speak of the not devil. He's going to be also in the chat. So lovely to have you, Jim. Thank you so much for letting your wife be in my studio today. All right. We do start with breakfast with my guests. Those of you who are not new to the show know the drill. Those of you who are new to the show, you can participate in the chat. I talk about taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich for breakfast. It's a discipline that we've started this past year on the show. And we, at the top of the bun is 8 things that we're grateful for that are outside of us. The bottom of the bun is what do we like about ourselves? So turning on the inside, not listening to the critic, but actually, working our muscle of self-love, self-approval, self-soothing. And I believe that is the foundation of good mental health. So let's start. I am grateful to have such amazing guests who usually turn out to be friends. And I just am so grateful for this opportunity. What are you grateful for?
I'm grateful for my beautiful family. I feel very lucky to have a family that's very supportive.
Wonderful. And Jim's doing the third gratitude, that he's grateful for his sensational actress and great advocate for actors' wife. So that's 3. I'm grateful for my sound engineer, Frank, who does a great job supporting me in the mornings. That's 4. Another gratitude from you?
From me or the guests?
You.
Me. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm grateful for my friends and the artistic abilities that they have, that they share with the world.
Beautiful. Troy is grateful for my show. I will definitely pop that up there. That's 6. 2 more. So 1 for each of us. What else are you grateful for? Tamra.
I'm grateful that I met you and had the opportunity to get to know you. I really am. It's lovely.
I am grateful that I live in a friendly universe that is always conspiring for me, never against me, and that every single day is an opportunity to be amazed and delighted in a positive way. There we go. That's the top of the bun. Let's go to the bottom of the bun. What do you like about yourself? Because frankly, if you can't approve of yourself, how the fork do you expect anyone else to approve of you? That's my line, and I'm sticking to it. I appreciate that I am funny. I was married to a man, my husband, who told me every other day that I was not funny. So the best part of divorce is owning my funny. What do you like about yourself?
That I have the ability to push through and get things done.
Yes, absolutely. I can tell. We're going to put in a gratitude here from Jim that the Acting Center provides a safe space for people who just want to be more creative. Beautiful. And welcome to OT Pasha, who's here, who knows Jim. All right. I am appreciating my ability to turn the pain that is mandatory in life into power, as it chiseled me, and that I just never give up.
Great.
Another one for you.
Yeah, I think along that line too, of like looking at the world in that regard as half full instead of half empty, that, and really like accentuating the positive, it's what I think I like to do. I like to do that. So
Yeah, good. Yes, pronoia instead of paranoia, and best case scenario instead of worst case scenario. That's I appreciate that I am able to do that. And one last one from you, put you on the spot. I didn't warn her about this, by the way. She's like, but I never do because I want it to be kind of spontaneous.
Well, say the word spontaneous. That's what I was going to say, that I am spontaneous. I'm an improv actress, and I like to live my life in a spontaneous way.
Well, you're definitely doing it. And thank you all for joining us for breakfast. This was Taking a Bite of My Gratitude Sandwich with Dr. Marissa and Tamra Meskimen and the Cashew Gallery. I promise if you repeat this little blissipline 28 days in a row, you will sandwich your day in the most positive way. It's a wonderful thing to do in the car when you're taking your kids to school. I attribute gratitudes and appreciation for how my girls turned out, which is amazing. But we started this little practice when they were like 4 and 6, when the divorce started, as something to anchor them in the morning on the way to school. All righty, it is now time to find out about this fascinating school that I purposely don't do pre-interviews because I want to keep it fresh. So I'm so looking forward for the rest of this show to find out about this acting school. But first, to give a little context, did you know when you were a kid that you would be an actress, a co-founder of the school, married to an impressionist, daughter-in-law of Marion Ross, all of that, and it's kind of give me a little bit of who you are and in that process.
Yes, I as a kid loved to act. So I kind of knew that was probably going to be a path for me. I remember, to date me here, the show Laugh-In and Lily Tomlin and all the little funny things that she would do. And I would love to imitate her. I loved to make people laugh. I loved to have that effect on people. And I, then that kind of went into even acting a little bit in elementary school and junior high and high school, doing plays and eventually, branching out into a professional career, moving to New York and doing all that. So that was my path for sure. I loved acting and I loved being different characters. I loved stepping into someone else's shoes and creating an effect and giving people joy, So I definitely had a passion for that. Having an acting school, no. I wouldn't have thought about that in a million years. But I saw the need for it. I saw the need for it. And so that's kind of what led me in that direction. And I loved artists too. So I think, being married to Jim, that I was gravitating to people that were artists. I like to be around other artists and collaborate with other artists. So, Jim is very much, an amazing artist. So he fit the description of a great husband for me.
So tell me a little bit of that love story, because I do remember when I did interview Jim, his first gratitude was his family.
Hi, sorry, we dropped out there for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Frank, are we good? One of the things that I do remember about Jim's interview is his first gratitude was his family and the support from his family and how much he loved his family. So I want the short version of how you guys met. And where did you move to New York from?
I was in Los Angeles. I originally am from the East Coast. My parents are both from Maryland. But we moved out here when I was about 7. And so I mainly grew up out here in the San Fernando Valley in Woodland Hills. And Jim and I actually met in high school. And we did some plays together in high school. So we knew each other. We didn't date in high school. We were friends. We had the kind of the same circle of friends. And then we both went off and did various other things, went to college and traveled and then met up again later. And both kind of went, oh.
It's you, Lionel Richie.
Exactly. And he was living in New York at the time. He was out visiting his mom. And so we, wrote letters to each other.
What's that?
And so we stayed in touch. And then I went out to New York to visit him. And then we ended up going like, all right, I'll just move to New York.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
That is so sweet. So that's a long time knowing.
Yes, it is a long time knowing. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's great.
A lot of history.
Love the way he lit up yesterday when day before yesterday. We were there watching a fabulous film. I talked about it yesterday. Play. I mentioned it yesterday and actually put a social post up.
Yeah.
From wasn't that brilliant? Just to give them
amazing.
Yeah, it was Anson Williams directed, his wife, Sharon Scott Williams, and a great actress, my memory.
Carolyn Hennessy.
And then Luke from New York. I can't pronounce his last name, but and it was just a reading, but man, it was honestly the best reading I've ever witnessed. And they're coming on the show to talk before they start up in April. But and then the highlight was meeting people. Past guest Jerry Jewell was there. I love her. And Danelle Danigan, who's been on my show as well, love her. And then meeting you and seeing Jim. And here we are.
And here we are. Exactly.
And here we are. Okay. So let's go back to the need. The need for an acting center that is using very different new approaches. So let's start with putting the moose on the table about the old approach that I think I know about. I actually ran modeling and acting for children's school when I was the director at John Robert Powers modeling schools and agencies. That's how I was brought to LA from Hawaii, long story. But I do remember everything was about criticism. I would have someone come and grab my arm and say, lose that, right? Or, what happened to your face? Or you can't look like that, or lose, don't eat that. It was all very, like, by the time I finished my 8 years of modeling, this is just not even acting, but it's all, I think, pretty similar. I had an ulcer just from all of the internalized criticism that I was never good enough. And I remember that as the message. So am I far off?
Nope, not at all.
I rest my case.
Right on the money.
I rest my case. And thank you, David Weber is reacting to What a Love Story, which is great. And Oti Pasha, looking forward to joining the Actors Center when I have the budget. Acting is a passion I've never pursued.
Great.
All right. So you went through that. Did you go to acting school?
Well, I had some of that mainly probably in high school with my drama teacher in high school. Definitely a lot of criticism and just evaluation of the work and trying to get you to a certain place or whatever. And then in New York, when Jim and I actually were involved in an improv theater company in New York called the National Improvisational Theater, where we did, I know, thousands, probably thousands of improv shows and helped build that theater and renovate it and everything. It was a real theater community. And we saw people, we were teaching classes there as well, improv classes, doing shows weekly. And I witnessed so many people coming in that were broken. They came to do improv because they couldn't, had been so broken down in their acting classes that they still loved acting, but they couldn't do it anymore. They had decided they couldn't do it anymore, or they had to get away or whatever. They were broken by that method of teaching, and felt very, introverted and about themselves and their abilities and what they could do, and felt like they couldn't do it anymore, right? So they'd come to do some improv, and our environment at the improv school was very supportive. Again, it's another one of those unusual things in improv as well. And we lucked into finding this teacher who was very supportive. The technique that she used came directly from Del Close, which was Chicago based, and we had some very good, solid improv tech that we used. But it was an environment that was very supportive. So we saw how that worked. We really saw how people would blossom. And we would have doctors and dentists that wanted to be actors that had never acted before that would come, and they would just, and it would be great for them just in their bedside manner with patients or whatever too, but they would just blossom as artists as well. And I really saw the difference that it made to have a supportive environment. Jim also had been to Stella Adler. He had gone to a school like that and saw the people just kind of drop off. And as he did as well, it was like, no, this isn't for me. It's not for me. So, and the other part of this too is, it's critical, for sure. It's critical. But then there's this other side of it too, which is method acting, and what that is and what that does to you. Having you to create emotions, to draw from your own self, things that have happened to you that were traumatic, and pull those forward and try to use it in your work. And that's not good. That's not helpful for someone to do as an artist, and there've been innumerable cases where it's been detrimental to artists. So, I saw that as well. So, we were in New York for, I don't know, 10 years doing improv and improv classes. And when we moved back out to LA, a number of us actually did, even from New York. We kind of migrated out to LA and met up with, Christopher, who was one of my other co-founders. Christopher Smith was in the improv with Jim and I, and he actually was in LA as well. And then we met up with Eric Matheny, who was an actor who was also looking to make a change with acting, teaching. And we decided, well, there is a place for this. I mean, there's tons of acting classes in Los Angeles, but there's nobody doing this. Nobody's supplying a supportive environment.
Yeah.
So we just all kind of like, yeah, this is the time to do it. We really need something that can bolster the artist, not tear them down, give them confidence, not nitpick them to death to the point that they think they aren't capable of doing what they love, So that's
right.
kind of how it started.
Oh, wow. And if you've just tuned in and you're wondering what's going on in the studio today, you are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and if you'd like to watch and listen, you've resubscribed to my YouTube channel that houses all of the shows and more. And today we are delighted on a Tuesday Talent Series to have not just an actor, but the co-founder of the Acting Center, a solution to something that I've kind of always been bothered by, which is the tear down, belittle, and beat up methodology, which I understand is now called method acting, to bring out, the worst sort of non-supportive way of teaching. And I'm so delighted that this does exist. I didn't know that it existed. And I'm just going to pop up the website because I am all about sharing on my platform those things that are affirming to life and people. So this is theactingcenterla.com. Very easy. Ask my assistant Google and she'll find it for you. A modern approach to acting. Let's see, how long is this promo video? I'm wondering if we can just play it. Is it playable? It's not coming up.
Probably. I don't think it's very long.
Yeah. Acting classes in Los Angeles. We've got what is the Acting Center, but some very accessible online classes, career coaching, consulting classes, events, testimonials. So this is where you go if you are like many people wondering because of COVID. One of the hashtag COVID silver linings is, am I really doing what I want to do? And I know that there are a lot of people who want to try being an actor. And the joke is, if you're a waiter in LA, you're an actor, just sort of waiting for your break. And I know that it is truly one of those, the number of people we don't appreciate, I don't think, the number of people who are trying to be actors and the level of rejection and the one in how many, I don't even know the statistic, who actually makes it. Maybe you're familiar with that statistic. But I have to say, your mother-in-law, when she came to my Sunset Gower studio, she was only 89 at the time. She's now what, 93 or 94?
95.
Oh my! How did that happen?
I know.
She's so amazing, amazing. She just came on last year. I guess she was 94.
94.
But she could not believe I was not an actress. Could not believe. She's like, you totally missed your calling. But anyway, maybe this is my jolt to do this. But I'm encouraging any of you who are watching, listening now or later, that if it's anything you've ever thought about, this is definitely the school for you. And I'm speaking to O.T. Pasha too, that I'm going to put the intention in your life that money is not going to be an issue. You're going to focus on the way you're going to have abundance so that you can follow that aspect of your dream. All
Absolutely.
Right. So we've got a little here. I've never thought about the detrimental aspects of method acting. I can understand how exhausting it can be. And Sabrina, the entire staff together just makes sense. They all complement each other so well. That's wonderful. All right. So let's go. I did want to make one comment about method acting that I didn't know about. And because the book that I'm on tour now with, 8 Ways to Happiness, I don't write it as a psychologist telling you how to be happy. I'm one of the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma. And as a result of that, I know that a lot of us, that's the majority, 7 out of 10, my honorable moniker, Oprah, says it's 8 out of 10, that pain in life is mandatory. Suffering is optional, but to use method acting to pull from the past trauma without having the trauma treated, that I didn't realize is one of the reasons why there is so much numbing going on, because that has to be truly painful if you can't snap out of it, or if you can't see it. Like, I can see my trauma and I talk about it, but I'm not in the trauma again. I can talk about it to relate, and then past pain is power. That's my formula. So I'm guessing that your school doesn't not use past, but uses in a way that doesn't destroy. Yes?
We don't use past at all.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it is. Our school is based on characters, being another person. You're not being you. Oops, I think I'm frozen.
Yeah, I can hear you, and I don't know.
I didn't know what happened.
That's okay. We still have your.
Okay,
Oh, there we go.
Okay, here I'm coming back. Hopefully, I'll come back.
No worries.
There I am.
There
Okay,
you
are. Yes, it's character based. You're being another person, right? You're being the person that's in the play, in the movie. You're taking on their viewpoint, how they see the world, what their experiences are, not yours. So to the degree that you research and become this person, you don't need your own experience. You have this character's feelings, their emotions. What's happening to them in the script is what's happening to this character. So we don't use any personal stuff at all. You're in the moment. You're with another character. You're having a scene. You're having dialogue. You're exchanging ideas. That's what prompts these emotions. It's like if you were having a real conversation with someone, but you're being somebody else, right? We really get into like, actually be this other person. This is acting. That's what acting is. It's being someone else.
Be someone that you're not. Take a character, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for the clarification. I really like that, because that's the talent. The talent
Yes.
is not to, overact or overreact, right?
Exactly.
One of the funniest lines, Jim Carrey, was in the outtakes of, I can't remember, Liar, Liar, I think the movie was, and he was accused of overacting, and everybody in just like lost it. But I can make the connection now of, the harm done in traditional mode, method acting, draw from your pain, to the skill now is not to get regressed into that pain, but to learn how to completely be in the present moment of that character. So the skill is to understand or see through the eyes of someone who is that character. So the character description becomes the tool and the skill with which maybe I should do some acting.
I tell you, talk about therapy. It's really therapeutic. If we could all take the viewpoint of other people. I mean, come on, right?
This world be like, if we could actually.
What would this world be like? Exactly.
Right? Wow.
Yeah, it is.
That's a world peace school.
It is. It's a world peace tool.
Oh, wow. We've got another Amanda. Thank you for joining. Tamra puts it so beautifully. Yes, she does.
It is. It's so, it is, because you're living the life. And we've got, it's one of those things, and it is a skill, and this is the skill that we teach. We teach you how to be another person. We teach you acting, not all this other stuff that has nothing to do with acting, and how to be believable and make that dialogue your dialogue as that person. You know what I mean? And when you are that person, the dialogue comes so easily because it's what you would say, So it is really a groundbreaking approach to acting that nobody's doing. Plus the fact that we have exercises, we do drills. It's like you're doing it. We're not talking about it. You learn how to do the exercise and you do it, so, and you drill all the aspects of acting and what it takes to be a great actor. So you're up on your feet, you're doing things, we're working with emotions, we're working with dialogue, we're working with research, we're working with all aspects, and we have some great intensives too, which are wonderful.
Wow, I'm ready. OT Tasha is saying one of the reasons I'm ready to act now is because I've done a lot of shadow work to address the trauma. I no longer drink, smoke, or do recreational drugs, which is numbers. Congratulations. More than a year and a half sober. Good for you.
That's awesome.
I'm actually, yes. Thursday, I will be 15 years sober.
Wow.
So for me, that is also an important, I'm naturally high now. I don't need it.
That's right.
To be high and go for it. Thank you for the encouragement.
That's right. Get high on your art.
Yes, for sure. Get high on life.
On life.
Life does not suck. I put a film together, a short film during COVID because I all my motivational speaking gigs dropped. So I had time. And if you haven't seen it, it's called PPP Post-Pandemic Possibilities. It is on my YouTube channel as well. And I think that, all the playwrights and all the TV show writers, there's a lot of opportunity now, and I'm seeing them more and more, shows that are not negative dramas, shows that are real about who am I and what do I want to be and how good life is. And so that makes me definitely happy.
Yeah, that's what we need. Hopeful art.
Yes, definitely. So before we get any further, I am going to give you, because of your role in bringing something to life that is so helpful, I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet to Tamra Meskimen and a Center. I don't give it to every guest, so please do accept that. I don't have anything to actually physically give you, but I know that the work you're doing is so important. This is a field that is so known for its brokenness. Yeah. I mean, I don't know any other field that is so, it's in your face. I mean, if it bleeds, it leads. So that's also the problem with media. We are going to hear about the brokenness. We are going to hear about who's, in rehab for the X number of time, who has ended their lives because of the pain. And actors, I think, are top billing, unfortunately, in that news vein. So good for you. And I hope it really takes. I'm curious, the traditional acting schools, have you gotten any negative reactions, or they're just, or they won't last? They told me I wouldn't last for the show past a year. I'm so glad that they're wrong almost 12 years later. But what is the reaction been?
Well, it's been interesting, actually, because I think some of them have started to take on our language. They're not necessarily doing it, but they say we don't criticize. We give you, what is it? Like
brutally honest feedback.
Right.
Sorry.
It's That's true. Constructive criticism. We give you constructive criticism. So they've tried to I don't know, it's interesting. The language is kind of, seeping in, but we get quite a few students that have studied these other techniques, and come into our classes and are like, where I'm so happy you're here. I wish you'd been around here. I wish I knew about you before I did this other technique, and it takes a while to strip it off, but we're just like, just keep going, you just keep doing what we're doing, and you will come out of it. And then all of that self-criticism and all of that starts to peel away, and their confidence gets built up, and they're back to where they want to be as an artist, in control. Yeah. And there's other sorry.
It's almost like an unlearning. They have to unlearn all the negative ways that they have been successful.
Yes.
Interesting.
Somebody who's never studied acting before, it's like boom, boom, boom. They go out and they start booking work.
They don't have anything to unlearn, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. We've got a quote. New people on the Cashew Gallery. Greetings from Burrell Worldwide, Beverly Hills. And a couple of congratulations for me. Thank you very much. And we had mentioned if you are interested in acting, I'm sure there are people, this sounds almost like coaching in the vein that I do happiness coaching, is you're unlearning how to learn critically. So you're learning there's a term, I'm an organizational psychologist by education, and there's a methodology called appreciative inquiry. Have you heard of that term? That's in my field. It's learning by appreciation instead of criticism.
Great.
So it exists. It's not huge for obvious reasons. It's not well known, but it does sound like we're getting there. We're taking little baby steps. It's like turning a giant boat. I was going to say Titanic, but we don't want to go there. But we have to keep turning for a while before we see some critical movement and
right.
So
yes.
I'm so glad that we're on the same side. Thank you for the heart. We've been getting a nice eyeballs continuing to roll in. You are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show Tuesday Talent Series. My very special guest this morning is co-founder and actor of the Acting Center LA. So if you've ever thought about acting, this is the one for you. Someone just gave us the finger. Not that finger, but this finger for all of the reactions that we're getting. We are coming up on the last, I believe we're on 8 minutes left or 9 minutes. What haven't I asked you? What haven't you told me about that you would like to share? This is your spot.
Wow. I think, one of the reasons why we're doing this is because we appreciate artists so much, and we, like I said, we saw what people were going through and wanted to really rectify that and actually change. I mean, it's like an acting revolution, what we're creating here, Like you said, let's turn the tide on this. Let's turn the tide on this and come into the modern world with a modern approach to a subject that has been, acting is as old as we are. It really is. It's one of these things that we have been doing since the beginning of time, really,
Right. Speaking of old,
yeah.
El Gato Fio, is 72. Is there something I can do with acting? I'm not too old? Question mark.
Oh, no. That's the beauty about acting. That's the beauty about it. There are parts for every age, you know? I mean, when you talk about Marion didn't get her break until she was 40. You know what I mean? She was a working actress and she did commercials and she did television shows, but she didn't get her big break until she was 40, you know? So you never know when it's going to happen.
So the answer is 72 is not too old. You're kind of young. Marion is 95. And the Marion we're talking about, if you didn't tune in earlier, is Marion Ross. Definitely one of my top 10 guests on my show in the last 611 consecutive weeks. She is a wonderment. And she is still acting and still, you know, very much just such a blessing. If you missed her last interview when Jim brought her on last year, she did a blessing. I asked for a blessing on people, and she did such a beautiful blessing. So that's on my YouTube free subscribe channel. And that way you can also get an alert every weekday morning if you want to balance out all the bad news in your life with some good news. That's what we're here for. So yes, Elgato, the answer is yes. You do it. Go be like Gospel According to Nike. Just do it.
Just do it.
Go to the Acting Center LA.com. Let me bring that back up for you again, because I have that ability on this. And there's so many things that you can participate in. There's scene intensives, improv, acting for young adults, kids, private coaching, audition intensives, commercial intensive, breakthrough intensive, you name it. You've got it. You've got Tuesday, Thursday, start improv, impressions with my favorite impressionist, Jim Meskimen, who's in the chat somewhere in there. You've got auditions, live, students. Oh, he's a student spotlight is Jim Meskimen. I love it. If you've not subscribed to him, he does these really funny, spot improvs, and he's got cartoon competitions. I'm a little perturbed I did not win that cartoon competition. We'll have to talk about that.
Keep trying.
Keep trying, right? But the Acting Center, the new school for actors, is definitely somewhere that you will want to go. So what is the message for all actors out there, Tamra, for those who maybe are a little discouraged, they've been trying for a long time, or they don't have that self-confidence? What's that first turnaround thought that they need to sort of adopt and begin to affirm for themselves?
Well, and I think this is true for a lot of people. It's like, I know I wanted to be an actor, and I have been, there's barriers. There are barriers. You run into barriers. It's full of barriers, right? If you have that passion, there's nothing that's going to stop that, So follow it, follow that passion, and learn, like, that's why I said, that's why we have the school, because we want to help actors, artists. Our technique is actually great for any artist. It's good for musicians. It's good for writers, because you're taking on different viewpoints. It works across the board.
I think it works for your personal effectiveness and relationships and world peace.
World peace, exactly. So follow that passion. Yeah. And come get trained. We will help you with your passion. That's why we're here. That's our job, is to help you. Yeah.
And that's why she got Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award. Darnice Burrell is giving another example of it's never too late and you're never too old. Elgato, the grandmother from the Black Panther movie, was in her 90s in her first role. Thank you for that, Darnice. I did not know that. So it is definitely never too late. I'm almost, well, it's too late now. If I had thought about this earlier, we'll have you back. I almost want to challenge myself to see if I can get into, what was that, test intensive, to see if I can't get into character of somebody else so that I can give that a try. I guess, do people come and audition for the school as well, or can anybody join?
Anybody can join. It's an interview. You come interview, we'll tell you about the school, find out if it's a good fit for you. If you're, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And do you have an expectation talk? So I can remember one of the issues that I had working for I don't want to say the name. Now I already did. But anyways, with traditional acting and modeling schools, and I was actually interviewed because of my position there by the U.S. World and News Report. And the question was, are you selling dreams to people who will give you a lot of money? Is that a realistic expectation that they're going to be a top model, that they're going to be the next Halle Berry or John Travolta, who both of them are wonderful people, and I chafe when I see negative press in the media about any of the people that I've met on the carpet, which is another problem with the whole field of that. But another show.
Yeah.
But do you have that talk about expectations?
Well, I think what we try to do is put the actor in the driver's seat. It's their career. It's how, that they're going to drive their own career. We can help them and support them to get there. And, we have helped quite a few people, from very new people to Oscar nominees. So, it's a matter of, what do you want to do with your career? We can facilitate you, we can help you, we can do all of this, but you've got to want it. You've got to do it. So again, it goes along with that self-confidence and building that self-confidence in their ability to do what they want to do.
Good answer. So there really is no expectation. It is limitless depending on what you want. So that's another shift, right?
Yeah.
So I'm coming from an old construct that says, the numbers are, you may not make it, be realistic. But if you really want it and you don't give up, how many stories have we heard about actors and actresses who went on the, 7,000th audition and then it's huge, right?
Yeah.
Can you say any of the names that went through your school that we might recognize? Or are you bound?
Yeah, I don't know if I can.
Yeah, that's fine. I thought I'd ask. I figured no, but me, I put the moose on the table.
Yeah.
I'm getting the sign that we are into our final stretch of a minute. I just want to thank you so much. I knew that this was going to be great, but I'm always delighted to meet people who are so affirming. And again, I wish you the very, very best. You may see me knocking on your doorstep, and I'd love to, see any and all of these wonderful people who've been on my cashew gallery, my version of the peanut gallery. Thanks for joining us. You have been listening to Dr. Marissa reporting live out of my living room on Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on NBC News Radio, KCAA, with the beautiful Inside and Out Tamra Meskimen and the Acting Center LA. Now remember, it's all about balance. If you could do this, me and my peace sign. Peace in. Peace out, world. Peace through, inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow. Doctor's in the house.